rough seas ahead for Scientology's ship, the SSSP, that is rapidly and quickly sinking due to all of the leaks and all of the holes that I've reported on recently. And today, I bring you news that Scientology have breached the conditions of the premises license that enables them to host events, and they are hosting an event in just 3 weeks. Guys, I am just going to do a quick live stream tonight to bring you some breaking news. For those of you who don't know, just to fill you in very briefly, the Church of Scientology are holding an event in 3 weeks, the 3rd, 4th and 5th of November at their headquarters at St. Hill here in the United Kingdom near East Grinstead. It has been advertised as the greatest gathering of Scientologists. So there's a lot of attention on this event right now. And the ship that is the SSSP has been leaking left, right and center. If I was David Miscavige right now, I would be pretty concerned and running around like a headless chicken trying to keep this ship afloat. However, they have run into muddy waters. Now, in the United Kingdom, in order to host an event on the scale that Scientology do, you have to, it's considered a licensable activity, which means you have to have a premises license in order to host the event. Now, St. Hill Manor have a premises license, which enables them to host events of up to 7,000 people, no more than 10 times a year. Now, they don't hold large events of that scale 10 times a year. In fact, they haven't held an event in 4 years. So this is a really particularly important time for Scientology. Now, in order to host events on this scale, they have certain conditions that they have to meet in order for the license to be given the license. And I submitted a Freedom of Information Act request, and I've been on the phone to Mid Sussex District Council, which is the local authority that issue the license, because it appears, in fact, it is fact, they have broken the conditions of the license. Now, if you want to get the latest up-to-date information, you can follow my website, scientologybusiness.com, which is where I reported this just moments ago. Thank you for joining. Hi, Mark. Blown for good. Someone dropped a ball somewhere. Yes, they dropped a ball. In fact, someone is going to get in big trouble because of this. Now, this is the article I'm going to share with you. The link is in the description. It was released just a moment ago. Essentially, I'm not going to read it through. I'm just going to summarize it for you. Now, they have a premises license, and one of the conditions of the license is that they have to inform the local authority 6 weeks before an event that they intend to host an event, so that the Health and Safety Committee can meet and review the plans. They have to submit certain documents to do with child protection and health and safety 6 weeks prior. Now, I noticed this was a condition of their premises license, so I called up the council and I spoke to the licensing officer, and the conversation we had was fascinating. And I said, you know, Scientology have announced an event they're holding in 4 weeks. Have they informed you? And she said, no, they haven't held an event in a long time. And I said, no, they haven't. This is the first one. They've advertised it everywhere. And she said, interesting. And she said that they do have a license to hold the events, but they do have to submit certain documents. And I said, have they sent you anything? And she said, no, this is the first I am hearing of it. So I submitted a Freedom of Information Act request to the council just to confirm, in case it was just her that hadn't heard the news or received the notification. And Mid Sussex Council came back to me today confirming, even now, 3 weeks before the event, they haven't submitted the required documents. That is a condition of their license. Now, the licensing officer I spoke to said that historically, Scientology have been very good in terms of their health and safety planning, child protection, and the licensing of like alcohol sales, that sort of thing. And they've never had a problem before, which is completely reasonable. And she said that she will be making a trip to St. Hill in the coming days to go and ask why they haven't submitted this notification, and ask why that wasn't done and what they're going to do at the event, and ask to see the plans and the health and safety requirements and so on that they need to do. So it'll be very interesting to see. She said she's going to keep me up to date and inform me of what happens after that meeting. Of course, I'll bring that news to you straight away. Now, if you have a look at this article, you can read the FOI response in full. This is a picture of the tent that they are building in the back garden to host the event. It is apparently it has a capacity of 5,000, which is well under their limit of 7,000. But this indicates they very much are going ahead with their event plans. And the fact that they haven't submitted their 6-week notice indicates to me that Scientology do not give any regard for their license. They were going to go ahead with it anyway, and they don't really care that they have to submit this document. Now, unfortunately for them, breaking this license, it comes with penalties. I was looking this up on the government website, and the penalty for breaching the conditions of a premises license is a £20,000 fine or 6 months imprisonment for the designated premises supervisor. Now, the DPS is the person who's responsible for ensuring the licenses conditions are kept to and so on, and it is an individual by the name of, what's his name? Colin Philip Dyer. So if any of you know who this guy is, please get in touch. I'd love to know more about him. But he is a guy that is a Scientologist, and he's responsible for the premises license and so on. Now, the person I spoke to at the council, the authority, did say to me that it's unlikely this breach would prevent the event from going ahead simply because they've been good in the past. They've never had an issue historically. However, it is nonetheless a breach of their license, which is huge news, and I think tells a thousand tales about how Scientology perceive themselves in the world of laws and regulation. So that's the news, guys. I think it's fascinating. If you want to submit questions and stuff, we'll do a quick Q&A before we start to wrap up. I did say it was only a short video. There is also some more stuff coming on Scientology Business soon, some more videos and photos that have been leaked. I'm hosting a protest on the 3rd, 4th, and 5th of November in outside the Manor, outside St. Hill. If you are interested in coming, please head to iasprotest.com. IAS is the International Association of Scientologists. That's the big event that they're holding. This is the website. You can register to attend. There is lots of information there about how to take part. And if you are from abroad and you can't be there in person, you can support and show your opposition to Scientology's abuses by buying a t-shirt or by sharing online using the hashtag IASprotest. But this is the website if you want to know more about the protest. This will be happening whether they like it or not. It is currently set to be the largest anti-Scientology protest in the United Kingdom for about 15 years. We have had so many registrations over the last couple of days. There will be more people here than an anti-Scientology protest has had in a long time. I have requested permission from the police and the local authority to not just have a static protest, but actually to march from the centre of East Grinstead down the High Street, along the main road, and down to St. Hill on the Friday the 3rd. I'm waiting to hear back on whether that's been approved or not, but it does involve road closures, which I've requested, and certain things in place to make sure the safety of those involved is considered. So I will let you know when that is approved, or if it isn't, why. And regardless, we will be gathering as a static protest outside, and there's a couple of special guests that will be there that I can't wait to share with you, and quite a large number of fun and important things that will be captured on camera. We're going to be live streaming the event so you can watch online if you're not in the UK or you can't be there in person. Now, one thing I do ask is you help me, because if I get to 10,000 subscribers, which I'm only a few hundred away from, I will be able to do the live stream as a fundraiser for the Aftermath Foundation, which helps people escape and leave Scientology. YouTube only gives you the opportunity to host a fundraiser when you have 10,000 subs. So I'm trying to reach that before the event. So if you can like, share, subscribe, comment, all of that, that will really help me out. And hopefully we can raise some money to help people escape. Now, there's a couple of really good comments here. Egert Snorri Olafsson. This is so funny. Scientology really thinks that, and I'm not going to say that word because it is really offensive in the UK, but the WOG world rules and regulations don't apply to them. And that is exactly true. The Scientologists believe that they are above the law, that they are the most important, powerful, ethical organization on earth. And yet, let's look at their track record. This is an indication they are acting out of ethics because they're not complying with the regulations. Blown for good, Mark Headley. I think you may have jacked up their plans with all the event goers coming and they have not submitted anything planning wise, so your stuff may be approved first. Mark, that is very true. I submitted the application for road closures and the police assistance for our protest the moment that they announced they were having an event. And yes, 100% it was submitted before they announced to the council, because they still haven't announced to the council that they're holding an event. So who knows? We have the opportunity here to really disrupt their plans and what they're going to do. Scientology have been promoting the event far and wide. Including videos from London Org, where I used to work, the Jive Aces, the swing band here in the UK, who are all Scientology Sea Org members, have been promoting the event as well. I shared those 2 clips in my live stream just the other day, so go back and check those if you haven't already. It has been described as the greatest gathering of Scientologists. David Miscavige, who is currently on the run from process servers in the US after being accused of harassment and intimidation and human trafficking, he is expected to arrive in the UK very soon to host the event in person. And I've managed to send a couple of insiders to Birmingham Org, where they spoke to staff members the other week, who also confirmed that David Miscavige is expected to be there. And it would be weird if he wasn't. So there's a lot riding on this event. It's a bold statement. And I think it's even more of a bold statement that they didn't even bother to submit the required notices that they need to hold the event. Now, I hope that they do get in trouble for this because it is a clear breach. I hope they get a fine or something. I doubt it will stop the event going ahead, but it's something that they have done that is a breach of their license. Now, as well as the fine and as well as the prison sentence that the DPS may have, it also offers the opportunity for their premises license to be revoked. Now, the local council often convene, I think it's once a year, to review the license, and they will automatically approve it if there's been no breaches. Something like this has the opportunity to put their premises license in jeopardy, which means if it gets taken away at the next review, they won't be able to hold an event of this scale at St. Hill next year, which is totally what they'll plan to do. So I'll keep you in the loop and we'll see what happens, and I'll let you know when I hear back from the council. PTS for life, Jeff. Hi, maybe you should offer to be their event planner. Well, this is the thing. The reason I know this stuff and the reason I started looking into it is because this is what I do for a living. I work in marketing, I work in events, and I know all of the regulations that are required for this sort of thing. And so I thought, let's have a little look here. Let's see what their conditions are. There are also conditions on the license that say you have to, for example, stop serving alcohol at certain times. They also have a planning permission condition on one of the renovations that they did a few years back. Now, there are 3 entrances onto the property of St. Hill. The main entrance, then there's a smaller private entrance nearer the manor, and then there's a 3rd entrance, which is right by the old stables, for those of you familiar with St. Hill, which is now offices, and the qualifications building that was a multi-million-pound building they constructed a few years back. One of the conditions of the refurbishment of that building and the building of the new qual building was that coaches can only come and go to pick up and drop off Sea Org members between the hours of 8 or 9 in the morning and 9 p.m. in the evening, or 8 p.m. I can't remember. I think it's 9 p.m. in the evening. So that means after that time, they're not allowed to drive coaches into that entrance to pick up and drop off guests. Now, I'm waiting to hear back on whether that extends to the other 2 entrances or not. But if it does, that means Scientology are going to be in a real pickle when it comes to the end of the event each day, on the Friday, the Saturday, and the Sunday, because the event will quite often last several hours. And if it is starting at 6 or 7 11 in the evening, that means the event will be over at 11 o'clock, midnight, something like that. And all of the Scientologists from the local orgs who are shipped in on coaches, they are taken there in the morning and then they're taken back to their local org, the staff and public, after the event. If this condition of the planning permission license, or whatever that word is, if that extends to the other entrances, they're going to have trouble getting everybody off the property at the end of the event. Now, I'm waiting to hear back because I know it applies to this one particular entrance. I don't know if it applies to the other ones, and I will report back as soon as I know. But it'll be very interesting if that is the case, because they won't be able to ship everyone out after the event. So, guys, thank you so much for joining me. This was only a short one, as promised. Just to let you guys know about something I'm working on. It was 10 years ago exactly that my exit from Scientology began. I joined staff in 2011 and I was kicked out in 2014, declared a potential trouble source, and then continued studying Scientology and considered myself a Scientologist for several years afterwards, and then finally came out around 2016 or so. So I thought, considering the beginning of the end was 2013, October, we should start looking through some of the documents I have from my time on staff, and take you on the journey that I went on my exit. So inspired by Mark Headley's Spy Files, going through that chronologically, I'm doing the same thing. So there is a video coming out tomorrow that I've recorded, going through the first document that led to my eventual departure. Now, this time of year, 10 years ago, I had received many commendations for how great I was at book selling and how I was vital for the future of Scientology. And Rachel Hastings, who worked at international level over in LA, recording and filming stuff for Golden Era Productions, I interviewed her the other day, and she let me know that I didn't even know this, that even at the international level, I was known about. And David Miscavige, chairman of the board, personally requested that they were sent over to London to capture video footage of me selling books, because London was doing such a great job and they wanted to feature me and London at an international event like the one they're having in a couple of weeks. Now, I had no idea that this was why the film crew showed up, but it was interesting nonetheless. But that gives you an example of how integral I was to London orgs, book sales and recruitment tactics. And so I think it'll be really interesting for you to see how I went from that to being persona non grata just a few months later. So keep an eye on my channel for that. Donna Rose, thank you so much for the super chat. I bet they regret teaching you those event skills. I mean, yeah, I learned my event skills after Scientology, but yeah, 100% they probably regret kicking me off staff now, and I'm definitely on their radar. Guys, if you want to support my channel, you can buy me a coffee with the link in the description, or PayPal, whatever's easiest for you. And you can buy merch at apostatealex.com. This is one thing I want to show you, actually. These are the t-shirts I told you about. So if you want to support the protest, United Against Scientology, and on the back, a little play on words here, the IAS, International Association of Scientologists, now IASP. You can be an official member of the International Association of Suppressive People if you'd like to, simply by buying a t-shirt from apostatealex.com. But other than that, the best way to support the channel, like, share, subscribe, comment, all that sort of stuff. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me. Check out Scientology Business and get email notifications if you want, so you don't miss out on the news. I'll keep you updated, and I'll see you guys very, very soon.